All right. What do you know? Why is it not? Oh, I was like, all right, all right, all right. This is your crazy menopausal gal from Abilene, and this is the one and only Miss Devil
Devil
Woman.
woman.
So, how's everybody doing tonight? We have someone on. When you jump on, let us know
Yes.
who you are. It's Saturday night. Hey, it has been so friggin' hot today.
Yes, it has. Over here in Eastland, it got up to 103.
It was 107 here at noon.
Really? 107?
Yes.
That is like really, really hot.
I think it got up to like 109, but yeah, it was
Hey,
bad.
y'all,
Like,
y'all jump on, say hi so we know you're here. I gotta wait till I can see the comments. That way we can give a shout out to you guys that are on here and we know who's watching us.
yeah, that would be awesome. So tonight, we are doing something that Suzanne's been wanting to do now for a few weeks. Miss Suzanne, the Devil Woman, was wanting to talk about the prison systems, and I think that we should do like a kind of like a little mini series of it, and like the ones in the U.S. right now, and like maybe next week do
Right?
the really really
Around the
bad ones
world.
in the world, and
Yes.
kind of compare them. So, what do
Right.
y'all think about that? Would y'all like to do that? I will post a
Hello.
poll later.
Oh, hello, Eric. Hello, Marty. Thank y'all for jumping on and watching.
Hello, hello, hello. Awesome. Um, Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day. Any plans or anything?
Nope. I'm just gonna be here working.
Yeah,
Um,
we're not doing anything either. Um, I guess I probably should cook, or we should take mom out, but there's really not a good place around here to eat. You
yeah,
know?
I'm not too familiar with Ballinger or San Angelo area.
Yeah, we would have to. Yeah, we'd have to drive an hour away. So it's like, by the time we do that, get our makeup on and our clothes on, and we get something to where we're going, it's already
Hello,
like,
Miss Dolores. Happy Mother's Day.
oh, Dolores is on. All
Yeah.
right, all right. Okay, so
Well,
Miss
speaking.
Devil Miss Devil Woman herself has been doing all this research and stuff on the prison system. So I'm going to let you get started, and I'll jump right in and throw my 2 cents worth in because that's so
Right.
important, everybody.
Well, speaking of, and I guess it's not really like our prison system. I guess it's like the prison conditions
Wait,
that they have in
now
the prison system.
now you're breaking up.
Am I really?
Yeah,
Oh, that must be my internet.
yeah. Um, every once in a while you're cutting out, but that's fine.
Okay, and it may be that I have the microphone uh not set against where it can hear.
Okay. Well, I mean it's good though. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay.
Let's get started.
Okay. So it's more of like the prison conditions more than it is like the actual prison system.
Okay.
Uh, Example would be today we hit 103 and 107 where you're at, and I'm sure we get window units, or at my house I use a window unit to cool down my house. And as cold as I can get it is maybe 75, 80 on like a not so hot day.
Yeah.
But for the prisoners, it is unconstitutional for them to be in conditions higher than 85 degrees. That
And my
is
personal thoughts on that is you shouldn't be there to begin with.
right. That is
You
me that you have done something to be in prison. Why is it that you get to live in air condition
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get favorable conditions. How many homeless people do we have out here that are in the heat, don't have access to, fresh water, don't have the stuff that these prisoners have,
Yeah.
you know? Yes, they get 3 meals a day. And I get that they're not fancy meals. But again, we have homeless people that don't get food. We have vets that sit under on the side of the road that don't get the care that they need. We have school children that don't get lunches, but yet we have prisoners who have committed crimes. That is why they are behind bars, and they get
Yeah.
3 meals a day.
It's, to me, it's completely screwed up because, if you think about it, back in the day, if you was in the prison, you didn't have air conditioner back then.
No,
And what did they do? They survived, until we hung them. you
right.
know uh,
Uh, Chad brought up a really good point, though. He did say that not everyone that's in jail should be there, and I totally get that because
totally get it.
I do believe there are innocent people who are in jail, and I think they are like the older cases where DNA or like DNA evidence or like crime scene evidence, I don't think was as developed
They
as
was
it is
falsely
now.
accused. Yeah.
And so I do believe that there are some people who are in there. I'm talking about, like, for the most part, people who have committed crimes, especially like major crimes, like, murder uh, or conspiracy to murder, murder for hire, and they get
Right.
to go in there. Yeah, exactly. Or, people that have, and I get that there's a code in the prison system where I know pedophiles can't be in with other,
Right.
regular inmates and stuff. And I get all that. And, but I'm talking about, yes, Eric brought up a good point. They get TVs and cell phones, you know.
Well,
I,
that's what I was about to say. I looked it up, and I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention. Okay, they get non-essentials health care, religious, spiritual, cultural, educational textbooks, art, craft supplies, and then in certain prisons, depending on your, I guess, your report card, let's call it that, you are allowed to have no more than $1,500 worth of items in your cell. Here's what you can have in your cell. I was shocked: jewelry, instruments, you get a desk fan, a typewriter, a a prayer mats, I guess like yoga mats or something, stereo with CDs, cassettes, or whatever they use, uh, a gaming system, TV, their clothing. They get Tupperware, photos, books, games, game boards, personal care, sports equipment. And then they can't have more than $1,500 worth of crap in their um, cell.
in their actual cell. Chad said, "Oh no, it's nothing like that at all." I get that for the most part. Uh, I've always been told it depends. It depends
Yeah.
whether you're doing state or fed time, or depending on what you're doing. If you're doing if you're in a federal prison, or if you're in a state prison, I hear they are two completely different, like, types of situations or facilities to be in.
So as of this year, there's um 650,000 offenders are released every year. Approximately two-thirds will be rearrested within 3 years. And here's my thoughts on this. And this is probably going to cause a lot of backlash, whatever you want to call it. Because they have it so friggin' good in the jail system. And when they get out, they don't have it as good. And they go right back in.
Right. And that's the other thing. I think that to me, that's a whole nother issue. I personally have met people who have come out of the prison system, and what right now what I'm encountering is a lot of the older people that fell under old laws, and now that they're getting out, they fall under new laws.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was no transition period. There's people who have chosen to do their time straight, and now that they've gotten out, once they're off, but they don't know how to integrate themselves into society, and say they go right back to doing what they were doing before. Yeah. And then it just lands them right back into prison because that's the only thing that they know, or the only way they know how to survive.
And also, they get out and they start running with the same people that they ran with prior. And guess what? You know, if you don't take yourself out of that situation, then it's going to get you right every time. I've seen it happen. You know, they'll start hanging out with old buddies, and here we go.
Right.
And they'll go right back in.
I'm going to highlight some comments that came up. Eric says, I think they should be cut off from the world, but that's his opinion and his belief, and that they should have nothing. They messed up, and then you pay your dues. And exactly. Like I said, for the most part, I agree with that. Again, you do have those few that fall through the cracks that aren't supposed to be there, but to me, I think they're far and few in between, you know, so I think it's more like a generalization. And then Teresa says, my mom used to work for the Fort Bend SD in Texas. I don't know what that is. If you can kind of explain that, Teresa, because I'm not too sure what that is. I know that in Arizona, you know, that Joe, I'm probably going to butcher his last name, Aparicio, he was the sheriff over there. He was the one with the real big controversy that put up the tents. And, you know, he had TV, and if they wanted TV, somebody had to, like, ride an exercise bike that was connected to, like, a generator or something like that to provide the electricity or the TV to get it to work. Mm-hmm. You know, and I get that that's where they're saying, you know, out in the desert, it's 115 unfavorable living conditions. And I get 115, but there's a huge difference between 115 and 85 degrees. You know what I mean?
And I'm like Mark, you know, like if you know without a shadow of a doubt that they are 100% guilty, or if they actually confess, then either we put them away on a island by themselves, or we take them straight to death row. Because what's the point in giving them all these luxuries? It's like we're patting them on the back and saying, oh, good job. Well, next time when you come back in here, you know, it might be a little bit harder. It might not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, does that make sense? Because it pisses me off so bad.
Right. I feel like the conditions they get isn't enough to make them say, hey, I don't want to be back in there. And they commit another crime and end up back in the prison system. Okay, so I got clarification. It says her mom used to work for the Fort Bend Sheriff's Department in Texas. Fort Bend. Okay. Yeah, my brother used to, and my sister-in-law were both, they used to work in Nueces County too. You know, they were jailers there, and that was amazing. That was a big experience as well too. Because you think the prisoners there in prison, they don't get to know stuff from the outside world, you know, because they're away 23 hours, you know. And that's very crazy too, how they get information in there, because in a matter of 2-3 days or a day that somebody starts there. I mean, the inmates know the type of car that they
Yeah,
drive, you know,
that's
they
very
they
scary.
yeah, they know all this information. So I'm like, that's, for having limited resources, and they have plenty of resources and to find information out while they are in there. Uh, the chain gang, like, I don't know if we still do that. I've always known that to be something of the past, and I know we've kind of veered away from that. Um, a lot of people view it as cruelty or unconstitutional, is what I was looking at the lawsuit, because that Joe Aparicio was being sued. It's like a lawsuit, and it says it's unconstitutional for them to be above 85 degrees. There can't be more than two people to a thing, to I guess, like a cell, even though, or yeah, two people to a cell. Um, what else was in there? They can have some sort of writing materials, but then some stuff was banned as well.
Hmm.
Eric says, me pay for me pay for them to live in there. If they kill, they should not be on death row for years and years, living a life of luxury, and they should get the same hat of they did. It's the same thing of what they did, and he's saying that's his opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
As of 2022, there's 2,436 right now on death row.
right now, my opinions on death row are a little bit different, because I kind of get that they shouldn't get to live years and years and years
Right.
on death row. I think
Life
there
with
should
a
be
cow.
I think there should be a cap, a max, like maybe 10 years, because I know there's people that are on death row that have been on there for at least 15, 20 years. And they have, and I get the appeal system. I get that the DNA evidence wasn't there. They're appealing it. And I think there should be, and I think there is, I'm just not sure as to the number of appeals that they
Hmm.
are granted
Hmm.
before, they're out of appeals and it moves forward. Dolores said, my belief is that it should be a punishment, and when you get out, you damn sure don't want to go back. Yes, and I guess
Exactly. Yeah.
that's where I'm coming from.
They make it too easy. It's like, okay, well, when I get out, if I screw up, look at all the
Yeah,
stuff I'm going
like,
to get for free.
yeah, because they get out and they're like, well, if I do a crime, what are they going to do? Put me in jail? I
Yeah, I
go
mean,
back. I just get out of there, and
when
I do believe that.
when they get out, it's like, okay, now I've got to get a job, and most of them are going to be too damn lazy to get a job, and so it's like, okay, well, let me do something to get back in there, and why shouldn't they? Look what all they get. You know,
Right,
I
right,
just
and
think,
then
like what Mark was saying, like I think it's totally, like the pedophiles and stuff, having them in a separate part. I I'm totally against that.
you and me both.
The
Yeah,
reason
and
is,
Chad,
and
you are correct. Our system is broken, and it is not a perfect system, and I get that.
it's
Like I said, and I don't think it's totally the system. I think it is the conditions
yeah.
that are in prison
I think we should ship them right back to Alcatraz. I think we should
that
open
I
them back
don't
up.
agree with. You know,
I think we should open it back up, and we're talking the worst of the worst. If they're going to serve a life sentence, ship them over there with all the. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but the pedophiles,
that
the
to
the
me,
murderers, the worst of the worst, let them duke it out,
yes,
screw it
that's
out,
me.
whatever they need to do.
I'm like, the pedophiles should fend for themselves. I'm sorry. They prey
Exactly.
they prey on the innocent, and let them fend for
Yeah.
themselves. Let them,
Yeah.
and then I get it. They have in prison justice system. I totally get that. But like I said, I think if we make it just a little more inconvenient for the prisoners, I think they would not want to go back. And I get that you are going to have those few that no matter what you do, they're not going to learn their lesson.
And
You know what I mean?
I'm one that thinks, back in the old days, if you did something wrong, you there was public hangings. I
Right.
think if we
The
went back to
corporal
some of that,
punishment.
yeah. If we went back to that and people actually saw that they meant business, I think there would be less crime. I honestly do.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. Like as far as like murderers. There's several cases of people that have come in, they randomly have killed people. They get caught, they get put in the prison, they get the death row sentence, and then they're sitting on death row. I think, like I said, it should be capped and it should be like 3 years. You know you did it. It's beyond a shadow of a doubt. They've
Yeah,
they've admitted to doing it. The evidence is there. I think, 3 to 5 years that should be a done
yeah,
deal. Because to me, I want to send the message, or I think people should get the message. And I'm not just Texas, but I think Texas does a really good job of saying you don't want to come over here and commit a
yeah,
crime because you're not going to be a happy camper.
yeah. I think so too. And that's another reason why I wanted to do like a little series of this because, um, like the prison system and stuff for
Hmm.
in other countries, they are so harsh. I mean, like literally, ours looks like vacation.
Right. There are some that are harsh, that are horrible, horrible, worse conditions that we could ever think of. There's a
Yeah,
hole in the ground, that they have to do their business in. And I mean, if third world countries can do this and their prisoners are surviving and doing their time,
yeah.
I don't see why we have first world problems with our prisoners.
Um, dang it, I was gonna. You you said something that it made me think of something. I don't know what it was now. You hit something right on the head, and I'm thinking, oh
The third world, about them not even have, they have a hole to
no, it
take
wasn't
care of
that.
their.
I don't know, and maybe I'll think
Of
about it
course.
in just a second. It's not a big deal, but
Right.
it's
But I do think our system is broken. Now, to me, I think the luxuries or the things that they get now, I think that's something that they should get in a transition, like halfway house. I think the actual prison system should be a strict, rigid place for them to be, and then get the luxuries or show them how to integrate back into society.
so. I looked up the prison system for like the elites,
Uh-huh.
and their jail is
Are,
literally set up like a motel.
are you talking about like Martha Stewart and
Yes,
Bernie Madoff, that they got like club fed time?
yes. We're talking. It looks just like I pulled it up. It looks just like a motel, and it's like, oh, I mean, to them, it probably is horrible conditions, but most of us would kill. Well, that's a bad thing to say. I was going to say there would be most of us would kill to
No,
have something like that.
no pun intended or anything like
No
that.
pun intended.
But I
But
totally get what you mean, because like Bernie
yeah,
Madoff, I mean, he stole millions and millions of money from people, and he gets to live in, or he got to be in prison and club fed.
yeah,
I think he
yeah,
should have been with some of the more hardened criminals
yeah,
and make him think of his time then. Now, I think Martha Stewart probably could have held her own.
yeah. And it's not like she did something major or anything, but it's just like, good God, the way she carried on, and everybody was talking about it. You would think that she was out. with a axe pick, having to
Right. Uh,
chop up little rocks.
Eric says the Mexican prison looks at theirs. I was arrested in France. It's not fun at all, and I was only there for an hour. Hmm.
Eric said that he was arrested in France.
Yes, arrested in France. It's not fun at all.
My gosh. What was it? What was it like? Is it
Give us some more description,
yeah, give us some
a little more detail as to.
if you don't mind. I would like to
I'm all nosy. Give us more detail.
come on, you can trust us. Come on.
Exactly. I have no problem being nosy, Rosie.
Yeah. Thank God I have never been in jail. There's probably a few times I should have been.
I ran some. We've done some shady stuff back in the day. Yes. Chad says, if you got money, that's all that counts. That's true. However, not only do I believe, though, that's the same for the wardens in the prison. I think it's all become like a money deal for them because they're getting money from our government is getting money from our government for these prisoners. You know. And I think that's where the breakdown comes from. It's like a money deal. It's like cattle. You're moving in,
exactly.
you're auctioning off, you're moving in, selling out, it's like cattle.
Yeah. That's
Marty says define shady. We've done some. Definitely done some questionable stuff that should probably have been. Huh?
Who asked?
Marty.
Oh,
Marty Farmer. He said define shady. And to me, I'm not gonna lie. I've done some stuff that probably should have most definitely had the authorities known. I probably would have been in jail.
I have never done anything shady. Nothing like that. I've just like my mouth. I could whip somebody's ass.
I will say I do have a smart mouth, but my parents and my mama taught me when to shut it and when to open it. So I'm pretty good on that one.
Yeah. That's like I said, it's not like I've always been goody because
right.
And
that's why I take people. Everybody has something in their closet. For the most part, I try not to judge majority of the people. I get that there are situations where people have to do what they have to do to survive.
And I've always been open and honest about everything I have ever done because I don't want somebody coming back and saying, "You trying to hide this?" No, because I want everything out there. My life is like an open book,
And that's sweet. If you have a question, I'll answer it. As long as it falls within Facebook regulations, we cannot end up in Facebook jail.
and trust me, there's been some times that I'm surprised that we haven't ended up in jail, a Facebook jail.
My mouth. But I do get that, and it really isn't funny. Our prison system and the way it's being run and handled. But again, that's many, many different sections of there. That goes into, you've got racial profiling, you've got cops who do accept money under the table, there's all sorts of different aspects into that. I think
there's a lot of dirty cops out there.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Teresa said, my mom used to tell us stories of some of the inmates, the things they had done to be in jail. And some of the stories was hard to believe what they had done. Yes, that is so true. So true. And I mean, it's simple. It's simple because, some people think a dirty cop takes, a drug raid and they're going to take drugs or a payoff or whatever. But to me, a dirty cop, a perfect example is I know a few people who got pulled over. They didn't want a ticket. So they offered favors to get out of a ticket. They were,
What
I'm
kind
going
of favors are we talking about, Suzanne?
to, you know, and they were minors at the time that they did it,
Wow.
and the police knew it. It was, but to me, that's a dirty cop,
Oh yeah,
regardless.
definitely.
You know what I mean? And,
Yeah,
and now
definitely.
they're adults. And it's funny because we see these police officers now in a higher position. And it's funny because I'm like, we need depositions and stuff. And they're like, how are you going to attest to this character witness? And I was like, well, apparently you have this officer that you've done stuff with in the past. Why don't you put them on the stand?
Yeah, but
I'm
they're
sure
gonna
they're,
lie.
well, I'm like, and that's what I said.
Yeah,
Do you really think they're going to say I accepted favors
yeah, yeah.
to get out of jail? You know what I mean?
I had,
No,
she only had to gave me a little touchy.
it was just a tip, you know?
She just very, yeah. And I swear that's all she did.
Right.
kind of,
But,
kind of like Clinton. I did not have sex with that.
right. And that's what I mean. Like, people think dirty cops are just, they have to be extremely the worst of the worst. And no, I mean, it could be something simple.
The same
Easily.
way
And
with
I
our
think,
government.
right,
There's so many underhanded, dirty, dirty
politicians
elites.
and
Yeah,
things, and we
politicians.
have them in places. And I think a lot of people want stuff to change. And we just keep re-electing these people in the same positions,
Yeah.
allowing them. And I mean, I think some people don't wisen up to what's going on, or they're, unless it directly affects them. And I fall into that core category,
Hmm.
is that I'm really bad about not really paying attention to anything around me unless it directly affects me.
Right.
And I think that's where another place where it breaks down, because and this is kind of going off the subject, but like some people are, the war or whatever is going on in Russia.
Yeah.
And to me, they're like, aren't you scared? I know what's going on, but it doesn't directly affect me. So I'm like,
No,
whatever.
no, I totally get it.
You know what I
Whatever
mean?
happens is going to happen. Don't sit there
Right.
and dwell on it.
Hmm.
And that's the
And
way
I
I
think,
look at it too. It's
right.
horrible.
And I think most people don't pay attention to our prison system until they either end up in jail or know somebody who's ended up in jail, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's all the, Chad says it's all the same. Yeah, it is a breakdown. To me, a dirty cop is a dirty cop. It boils down to integrity, and I think that's what it is. You have to have integrity for what you do. You have to know what you're going to stand for and not fall for all the other stuff. Uh, with that, I also think there's other people who watch stuff happen and don't stick up for
And they're
what's going
just as
on.
guilty
Stay,
as
yeah,
that
staying
person.
silent is just as guilty.
Yeah.
Marty Farmer says, maybe off topic, but has anyone done any serious jury duty that will give you alternative view on people? I was on a murder trial in Arizona, took about a month. No one involved had less than a felony, including the deceased. Makes you wonder why they weren't in jail in the first place. Right. And see, and that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about, because a couple months ago, I got the jury summons, and my first thing, and I think everybody's first thing is, crap. I have to take time off of work, out of my day to go deal with this,
Yeah.
jury, do this thing, and I'm majorly guilty of doing that. And I'm like, hell, I don't want to do it. Please
Yeah.
don't pick me. Please, please, please don't pick me. And then, yet I complain about people who are not in jail. You know what I mean?
And see, my first thoughts is like, I would love to be on a murder case or something like that, because I would say fry them. And they wouldn't want me because I would already
You
say,
be murdered.
fry the bitches,
Right. Well, see, and for me, I have a little more controversy with that. I mean, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I believe in capital punishment. I think, and this is where my conflict comes in, because as being a Christian people, or as a Christian, you're not supposed to, or I've always been told, you're not supposed to go for uh
An
the
eye for an
death
eye.
penalty. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to go for the death penalty. You're supposed to offer life in prison.
Yeah.
So that's I have gray area. I have my own personal conflict that falls within that's my
I
own personal.
and I'm sorry for the families that have to deal with their loved ones being in the prison and everything. I can't even imagine. But like I said, if they are guilty without a shadow of a doubt, why why are we having to support them?
Right.
That's what I get pissed off about. Why do we have to support them when we are hardly being able to support ourselves? We need to focus on the elderly and our veterans and the homeless before we put money into the prison systems and take care of these people that are, killing killers.
Right.
That's why I get pissed off at it.
Right. Marty says the selection was so random. Couldn't believe I was there at the end to get picked. They told us during selection that it wasn't a capital murder case, so no death penalty. I get
So
that.
how long did he have to stay? I mean, how long was he on the jury for?
About a month. He said it took about a month.
Now, is that like, do you have to stay like at a hotel with everybody, or can you go home?
See, I don't know. See, I live in this little dinky dink
Yeah,
town. There's hardly maybe 10,000 people here. I'm not really
right.
too sure on that. And so it's just, I don't know. It's a little harder, and that's why I said a lot of it comes down to what are we willing to do to change or make the change that
Yeah.
needs to be done.
So we have, did you say Marty, Chad, Mark? Who else?
It says Katie Kaufman is watching.
Oh, Katie Kaufman. Yeah.
Teresa's on. Eric is on. Marty says they were not sequestered, allowed to go home.
Really? That would be rough. That would be so rough. So I think, what do you think about next week if we do the worst prison systems and what they go through, and I want to compare ours to theirs, and
Like the conditions in third
yeah, the
world.
conditions, and I want to know, like, what is the percentage that end up going back to jail?
Oh, for the percentage rate, the return rate for
Yeah,
or repeat rate for
yeah.
for those countries. That I think that would be a good thing to look into. I never thought about looking into that.
Because what did I say a while ago? It was on ours. It says approximately 2/3 will be rearrested within 3
Hello,
years.
Jackie. Jackie's on.
Oh, hey, Jack. How are you? Jackie Jack.
Marty said, how about the Alabama escape case? I
I'm
don't
not
know.
aware of
I'm not aware of that. I don't really know. Like I said,
what's it
again,
called.
I'm guilty of, unless it happens somewhere right
What's
here,
it
then
called? Alabama.
Alabama escape case.
I'm writing it down.
Uh, Jackie says, do it all right. Just got home from work. Oh, that must be nice to be home from work.
And who was that gave us that idea or asked that question?
The Alabama escape case, Marty Farmer.
Marty, if we talk about all this next weekend, are you going to come back and visit with us? That would be awesome. And y'all, if
That would
whoever
that
wants
would
to
be
be like part of our show and get on like a guest and talk about your experience, that
yeah.
would
Hit
be
us
awesome.
hit us up, man. We're down to have people come on and give their points of views.
I would love that because I mean, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I personally have no experience with the prison system, and to be able to get somebody in there and somebody even like I would love to have somebody on like a detective or
Right. Or a corrections officer
forensics
or
or
something
something,
like that.
that would be really cool. So anybody,
Teresa said that she might get some information from her mom on some of the worst prisons.
okay, cool.
Oh, okay. I do know what he's talking about now. The Alabama correction officer that helped a convicted murderer escape. The White. The White was their last name. It just so happened that they had the same last name. They weren't kin or related to each other.
Was it the woman?
Yes, it was the woman, and
Okay,
she helped
it happened.
the man escape.
It was happened a few years back, wasn't it?
No, this was just recently. This is like a recent.
Oh, well, then I'm
Uh,
thinking of something else.
and Dolores said, "I wonder if he's killed her stupid ass yet." I was wondering. I mean, coincidence? I don't know that they have the same name. They're not kin. I mean, it is a big
Yeah,
deal. And that's true. I mean, think about that. I never really thought about that. People are in there for murder. You're over here helping them get out, and then you get their escape plan. I mean, only, you
yeah,
know, two people can't keep a secret unless one of them's dead. So, I mean,
yeah,
that
that's
is
right.
true.
That is
Jackie,
so
you,
funny.
Jackie, you all should talk about anime conventions or healthcare and issues there. I don't know. Or Johnny Depp trial. I sure would like to talk about healthcare and not really like the healthcare system, yes. But what about the people that work in healthcare? Do you know? And I say that one hits personal for me right now because I work and I've been in this field for 20 years that I've been working as a healthcare provider. My husband just got hired at Taco Bell and makes more than what I do.
Wow.
I take care of people and and I don't mean to like degrade it or to sound horrible, or I don't mean any offense to people flipping burgers or in the fast food industry, but for them to be making more than people who are caring and taking care of other people, that says a lot about our country and where our
Yeah.
morals and values are.
And that goes right back to the prison system that we treat them better than ourselves.
Right. We treat people better than yeah, and that's way true. And I know there's this horrible, like I crack up every time there's this a McDonald's TikTok thing, and it says it says McDonald's is paying $36 an hour to work there. Are you going to work? And the person does it to the McDonald's logo thing. He's like, but I'm working, which, and I was like, I would too, It kind of makes you
Yeah.
rethink.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, I sit here and I have to do paperwork and I have to make sure my people are taken care of. I make sure they get the best benefits whatsoever. And yet, I can go get a job that requires minimum education and get paid more with less
Yeah.
with with less responsibilities.
Yeah. That is bull crap. Um,
Teresa says she used to do home health care in homes for others. Yeah, I've done that too.
yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah,
I had to give that up though because I get too attached.
right.
My last lady, I just got too attached to, and I was just like, I got to stop. Okay, it's 10 minutes.
Right.
We have
It
10
ties
minutes.
back to us as a whole and why our systems are the way they are. And it's up to us to fix it. And what are we as people going to do to fix those systems? It's stupid though. We do more work and have more education than them, and we get paid less. Yep,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
Dolores said healthcare workers have a very hard job, mentally draining, and this is very true. Takes a special person, and it ain't me.
yeah. No,
I do, it is mentally draining. I will say that. I will say that. And that goes for the prison guards that work there in the prisons. I mean, if you think those inmates don't play tricks on them, or what else do they have to do than to be there 23 hours a day? You know what I mean? Figuring out what makes these people tick, what doesn't, how to piss them off, how not to piss them off. You know what I mean? We've got to
yeah,
be crazy.
yeah, yeah. Agree, agree.
All right.
Well,
Well,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, we're getting close to time.
Yeah, we are. Um, let's do a poll and post it out there and see what we're going to do next Saturday. And y'all that jumped on tonight, I would love for y'all to come back. Marty and Chad and Eric and um, Teresa, all of y'all, just y'all come back
Right.
and yeah, and
And if y'all want to be special guests, like I said, hit us up. We are
yeah, if y'all
always welcome
and if you
to.
know somebody that has experience with this topic, bring them on. I
Right.
would
And if you
love.
don't even want to come on camera, they can uh digitally block it out. You can put a
Yeah,
mask on if you want. You don't have to, you
yeah.
know,
You don't
show
have to
your
be on
face if you're
camera.
not
Yeah.
want to.
Well, okay, y'all. Well, I
Well,
guess we're
thank
going to
you,
call
Marty.
it
We
a night.
appreciate that. Marty says he normally tries to stop in every now and again. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks so much.
We
And
do, we do.
I'm gonna look this Alabama escape case up. I'm interested in knowing. I hadn't heard about that one. I was thinking there's another one that happened a few years back that I was thinking about.
Uh-oh.
So anyway, I'm gonna look into it.
Yep, yep. All right. Well, we'll be back for sure next Saturday.
Yeah,
We're going to
for
put up a
sure.
poll, see what new topics we can come up with. If
And
you have a topic,
yeah,
if
exactly.
you have a
Let us
topic,
know.
let us know. We're always up to talk about anything and everything.
That's right. Well, y'all, this is the crazy menopausal gal from Abilene, and this is
The
the
Devil Woman.
woman. And we appreciate y'all jumping on tonight. And if you would invite some people and share, that helps us out.
Yep, like,
And
share.
uh, if you know somebody that wants to participate on the live, then let us know. Just send us a message. We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. What's left of it. Y'all have a wonderful Mother's Day, and we will come back here next Saturday.
That's right. Bye.
Okay, y'all. Toodles.